Hello, everybody. It is now Thursday of Holy Week, and I am back with some reflections for Maundy Thursday. Let's begin with a word of prayer. God who washes our feet, God who commands us to love, before the prayers in the garden and the stations of the cross, before the tomb and the spices and the stone they put in place, there was this moment when you showed us what it meant to be divine. May we not forget that the power to defeat death was not what you wanted us to imitate. It was to lay aside all other things and to love. Amen. Many of you know that when I was doing my CPE, my clinical pastoral education, which is part of our training as ELCA pastors, I was assigned to a pediatric hospital in Minneapolis. I started out on the 6th floor, which was what we call a general med-surg, medical surgical floor. And that was a place where most cases were benign. Most of the kids who came through there were in the hospital for short stints, and they were going to be just fine. But through a series of strange circumstances, I ended up very soon into my 3-month stint in CPE, working in the pediatric intensive care unit, 3rd floor, the PICU. And I worked on cases that were emotionally devastating. It is amazing to work with kids and to watch them heal and to be resilient. And the flip side of that coin is watching kids deal with emotions and disease and illness that children should never have to deal with. I came to a point where I was so emotionally exhausted and was carrying such heavy burdens as I was trying to care for these children and for their families in the hospital. And my supervisor, an amazing chaplain named Karen, suggested that I come up with a ritual, that I come up with a way of putting down all the heaviness that I was carrying so that I could continue to go about my work and care for my patients effectively. I was a little apprehensive at first, having never written a ritual before, but I decided to go ahead and try. So what I did each Friday that I came home from the hospital, I would set out a basin of warm water, a washcloth, and a candle. And I would kneel down in front of my little table and light that candle, and then I would just wait. And sure enough, before too long, the names of the children I was caring for, their stories would come pouring out of me, and I would speak them aloud as they came. And sometimes this was short, but sometimes this took 20 minutes to do, to just let their names be said out loud, let their stories be spoken and heard in this sacred space that I had created, and invite God to hear their story. And once the names had stopped, once I had said all that I needed to say, I would dip the washcloth into the warm water, and I would slowly and deliberately wash my hands from fingertip down to elbow, carefully noting each finger, my wrists, my skin down to my elbow, not unlike the way a surgeon washes their hands as they prepare for a surgery. When I first told one of my colleagues about this ritual that I had written, she said it reminded her of the story of Pontius Pilate washing his hands when he sends Jesus to die, as though he has nothing to do with it anymore. But I didn't really see this ritual as a shirking of my responsibility the way that Pilate does. I saw this ritual of washing more similar to Jesus, who shows up on Maundy Thursday, the Jesus who's willing to wash the disciples' feet, the Jesus who institutes the practice of communion, giving up his own body and blood for us, the God who says, I am here to be God, and you don't have to be. Because what I was able to do was to lay down these burdens that I had, lay down my care, my desire that I could control the outcome of these situations, my own hero complex, my wanting to control what was going to happen. And instead, I got to turn these things over to God, and say, I am not God, but you are. And I trust in your mercy and your goodness to handle these cases and these situations that ultimately I am but a witness to. And I think that is what we see throughout the Passion narrative. God is God, and we are not. Where we cannot control the outcome of these situations, God is in control, and God is worthy of our trust. We can let go of things that are not ours to carry. We can let go of our belief that it all depends on us. We can let go of our fear, of our worry, of our doubt. We can let go of things that are simply too heavy for us to carry, and we can hand them over to the one who can bear them for us. I hope that story and that ritual, which you are more than welcome to borrow, are helpful for you as we walk this Passion story together. My friends, hear now this blessing. O God, may we, your children, hear your command to love one another as you have loved us, and may we take you at your word. May we let go of our desire to control, to save, to believe that it all rests on us, and may we instead remember that you are God and we are not. May we lay down all that is not ours to carry, and instead place our burdens at the foot of the cross, trusting in your mercy, your grace, and your love. Amen. Peace be with you all. I'll see you soon.